We're coming to the dry times, brother. I love me some summertime, but the only thing I think we're like, 120 something days, maybe 118 days away from it. Oh. Yeah, it's about 118 days away from starting the NFL season.
Yeah, I could have done without that.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll take 118. Before you know it, once we get below 100, I can say, all right, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, we got, then it's only 80 something till like training camp.
Training camp. Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome to this episode of Bets and Buds. We're the Buds helping you cash your bets. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome to this edition, everybody. We got this playoff edition of NBA basketball, NHL, hockey, and we also got a little bit of baseball we're going to cover today. Oh, yeah, I know. Not a lot to talk about these Cardinals right now. Not a lot to talk about these Cardinals. But I do have a little piece we'll cover on that. But let's get into the exciting shit right now before we get into that depressing topic of those Cardinals right now.
I like that.
All right, so Bobby, we're going to float this over in your territory. This is like usually your realm of how you get down. First off, shout out to True on the Track and bless us with that beat to get us started here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Add to the comment section. We'll get back to anybody. We see those comments there. Make sure you play nice. We don't play nice back. All right, baby. So what we want to do here is let's get into diving into hockey playoffs here.
All right. So we got 4 series going on right now. The most interesting one to me is this Dallas-Colorado series. Dallas up 1-0 right now on Colorado's up 1-0 on Dallas right now. Dallas really fumbled that game away.
They did. That was, because they jumped out
3-0 after the first period, and then they just went dormant. Either they went dormant, and Colorado picked. I think it's a combination of both.
I think it was a combination of both. And Colorado's just kind of built like that.
Oh, they're good. Don't give me the Kyle McCarr.
He is. He is a stud, man. He is an absolute stud. And then that overtime goal with was it who scored that goal? That wasn't
Wood.
McKinnon.
No,
it wasn't McKinnon. Because I saw the 28 and I was like, no, McKinnon's 29.
He broke that puck out down the sidewall.
Beautiful pass off the boards.
And took it in and beat the guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Dallas fumbled that, especially at home. You can't lose a game like
you
that
can't. You can't give that game away, especially overtime crusher. Those are backbreakers.
Oh,
right
yes,
there.
it is. But Dallas is good enough. They can still, as long as they come back and get game 2, I think they'll make a series out of this.
Oh, yeah.
The other one over in the West, you got Vancouver getting game 1 versus Edmonton.
That was an epic comeback, too, man. I mean, they stormed back. I thought that game was over.
It was. Edmonton's up again, 4-1. Like, they should have that game in hand, you would think. But
they haven't beat Edmonton hasn't beat Vancouver all season either.
No, and we'll get to that in the other series too. But this one was poor goaltending all the way around. There were 42 shots on goal in the entire game, 9 goals.
Yeah,
that's
bad goaltending.
Vancouver won that game with their goaltender giving up 4 goals on 18 shots.
And you thought that was going to go to overtime. They still got to go before the end of that. But that's almost they've been Edmonton's MO. That's why we said I was going to have a hard time siding with Edmonton just because of the fact that
their goaltending.
Yes,
it's poor. Out of all the teams in the playoffs, I would say
they have the worst goaltending.
Yes,
by far they have the worst goaltenders. That's gonna be hard to win a Stanley Cup that way.
It is. So you've got Vancouver up 1-0 now. I still think Edmonton can get it done. They just got to outscore them. They can't rely on that defense. The most interesting one in the East is this Florida-Boston series.
Oh, yeah.
Florida getting it done last night, routing Boston actually 6-1, which was almost opposite of what Boston did them in Game 1. I think Florida was just tired or lethargic.
Yeah, they had a
after
little rust.
being off for
they had a little rust
for that long. That's going to be a tight series. I still think Florida gets that one done.
Yeah. I think it'll go 7 though. I do think it'll go 7.
Yeah, I think that one out of all these series is the one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the best one to definitely go 7.
And then you've got the Rangers up 2-0 on Carolina. Carolina's got to win at home.
Yes.
They've got to get both of these games at home, or the Rangers are going to win this series.
Because I don't see them beating the Rangers 2 games in a row.
No.
The Rangers are playing bully hockey.
Carolina's got to get this next game. If not, that series is effectively over. That one, once again, that's going to come down to goaltending. The Rangers just are getting better goaltending right now.
Sturgeon. I mean, he's a stud.
He is a stud. So that's what's going on in the NHL. How about the NBA, Jason?
All right, so we got the NBA here. The NBA, we got some not really a whole lot of action going on right now, except outside of there being some new blood. Some new blood really makes some noise here. So first off, we'll get the boring shit out of the way. Boston's up on Cleveland right now. They're up 1-0. They play tonight in this game. I'd be surprised if they don't take that 2-0. I mean, it wasn't even really a close game. I think it was like 120 to 97 or something like that. It wasn't even a close game. So I see pretty much Boston kind of making their way through that. If it's not a sweep, it'll be the gentleman's sweep, the 5-game type deal. So then next up on the East, we'll stay on the East side. Oh, a lot of controversy on this one. Knicks and Indiana. So there was some bad officiating calls on both of those games, and I'm one of those people that usually I like to break down the film type of guy. I'm not one of those people that usually ever likes to blame the refs. But that first game, yes, Indiana got fucked. I mean, they got fucked royally because the fact that they had a double dribble that was an obvious call. They got called a kickball on him. There was an obvious call on him. And the guy clearly hit his hand, and they called a kickball. They said it wasn't a reviewable play, so they kept the play alive. I mean, and the game was tied at that point. And then they had that illegal screen at the end. I mean, and it's just a lot of shifty stuff that happened, where they just really got screwed in that game as far as having a chance to win that outright. And then last night's game, the Indiana was in that game and they had a chance to take that over, and another double dribble. Right. When do you see double dribble? And it wasn't a double dribble. That's what was even worse. But you don't ever see double. You might see a carry. You might see the occasional travel, but a double dribble in an NBA playoff game and an NBA playoff, that was bad. I mean, it really was. So either way, and then also Jalen Brunson went out, because the Knicks had a lot of hope in that game because Jalen Brunson went out, he came back, all of a sudden he's making buckets left and right.
Now, didn't the new Knicks, they lost a pretty good player though, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost. What's his name? Murphy. What's his name? I think Morris Murphy. I think is his name. But he's one of their bigs, one of their forwards up front, and so he's probably going to be out the rest of the playoffs. Okay. All the way around. So big loss for them. But they're up 2-0.
Yeah, they are up 2-0.
They're up 2-0. So Indianapolis has to come back and they have to hold fort back here in Indiana. That's the main thing they got to do to try to tie that series back up. At least get the 2 games. If they can get those 2 games, then they got a chance to make it a series. But if they can lose one of those games, it's still gonna be hard for me to see them overcome the Knicks at this point. But then we go to the West. The West, we got Shocker here.
This one,
Minnesota
up 2-0.
Those young boys against our defending champion Denver Nuggets. Anthony Edwards is a dog. He is a damn dog. He is a beast. He is the next face and coming to this league. And if the NBA, if you let him get a championship this year, watch out for your future, everybody else. I'm just telling you, if you let this boy get a championship and then taste the blood right after the get-go.
You think everybody's going to be wanting to go to Minnesota next?
Oh, man. I mean, you know what? Who's not going to want to play with this dude?
Right.
That's the thing. Who's not going to want to play with this dude in New York? I mean, Minnesota's going to break the bank to keep him. I mean, this dude's going to make $1 billion in his career. Easily. He's 22 years old. He's a face of the league. He's a stud. You got Karl Anthony Towns up there, but then they got a lot of role players that are like a lot of solid production there. And I mean, I was worried watching the Nuggets because I was like, man, how can you slow this team down? They almost have the perfect construction of a team. I have not seen this team that discombobulated ever watching their games, at least in the last 2 years that I've watched them play basketball. It's been pretty dumbfounding to watch how it's gone down.
Yeah, that's a shocker.
Jamal Murray almost getting killed. I mean, he's so pissed off to the point where he's throwing towels and the towel didn't hit the ref, so he throws the fucking heating pad out there on the court and shit. Luckily, nobody got hurt, because if somebody got hurt, he'd probably have been gone.
Oh, yeah, he'd have been gone.
And the only reason why I think the NBA didn't suspend him because they knew this series would be over if he was suspended.
Okay.
And so that's the only reason why I think that they didn't suspend him in that game. They gave him a $100,000 fine. Basically, that's a slap on the wrist for these guys making the type of money they're making. But the only reason why I think is, that series would have been over because, Minnesota is, it's not even like that they're beating them. It's a dominant, it's a dominant performance. Outright dominant performance. Then we got the Youngbloods here. Youngbloods are up 1-0. 1-0. OKC over Dallas.
Over Dallas.
Dallas is in a little bit of trouble just for the fact that Luka Doncic he was a little hurt. He was a little gimpy in that. That's our I guess SGA from OKC. He was number 2 place MVP runner up, and then we had Doncic was number 3 MVP runner up. So Doncic is a little bit wounded. He's hurt. So we'll see. 1-0. Let's see how he comes back this next game. It's a big must-win as far as I'm concerned for Dallas with this one.
No, you don't want to get down 2-0.
Yeah, you don't want to get down 2-0. You really don't. That's going to be really, really kind of you're playing with fire there because, these young boys are going to start smelling blood, and they'll run them out the court there at that point. So we'll see how that happens. Of course, they can always go back to Dallas and they win. They always say, the series isn't over. It doesn't really get started until the home team loses. So we'll see what happens there. But, they don't necessarily have to win this game tonight, but they do want to win. They're obviously going to. If they don't win tonight, they're going going to definitely have to
your
win.
back's up against the
They're
wall.
definitely going to have to win the next 2 in Dallas. Definitely going to win the next 2 in Dallas. So that's the NBA playoffs there that we got covered up here, brother. So, like, the next thing we got to talk about, I guess.
Move on to these Cardinals.
You know what? I don't really have a whole lot to say. Like, as far as from the team, obviously, because there hasn't been a whole lot to mention for the team.
No, they went 1-4 last week.
Yes. I mean, against the White Sox and the Mets.
And the Mets.
And the Mets. And so thank God for the rain out. Maybe the rain out was good for them.
Maybe. They're sitting at 15-21 overall right now.
And that's ugly. And they're in the basement of the division.
Yep,
Basement of the division. The one thing that I was going to talk about with the Cardinals, because I like, screw this season, what I want to talk about as far as how they missed the boat last year. And the reason why I say that was like last year, I felt like was a prime time to trade Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, you waited too long.
He was coming off the MVP season. You had a season that was going nowhere. How better to replace your pitching prospects? I mean, you would have got some top notch prospects. You an MVP for anybody who had any playoff hopes last year, any championship hopes. They would have gave up a good mint for Paul Goldschmidt last year coming off MVP. Now this year, at 152 plate appearances, he's batting 195. 2 home runs, an OPS on base percentage of 287, and slugging percentage of 263.
That's the one. That's a hard thing to do, guys.
Yes.
To have a slugging percentage worse than your on base percentage.
On base percentage. That is, like, for all you baseball nerds out there, you know this, but people that don't understand it, that is very hard to have your slugging percentage lower than your on base percentage from a guy, especially a guy that's the caliber of Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah. So to me, last year they missed the boat on getting rid of him. Then
they did. I thought they should have traded him last year.
And the reason why I thought that, because for me, I felt like because Jordan Walker was a natural third baseman, but you go ahead and put him at first base.
Yeah, you might as well.
Not only that, I think they've also mishandled him because he's always used to being a top of the lineup guy.
Right.
And everybody that has played sports knows athletes are creatures of habit. And so you got this guy who all of a sudden, for the first time in his life, on the biggest scale of his life,
is hitting way down.
He's hitting 7th, 8th in the order. I mean, you're killing this young kid. I mean, he's a big monster beast of an athlete. You trade Goldschmidt last year, put Walker at first base, put him in an intricate part of the lineup, and I guarantee you probably see a little bit of a different, scenario out of that.
Yeah, they've really fumbled the ball on Walker. I think they might have destroyed this kid's confidence.
Luckily, he's only 20, so I mean, we're okay. He's not even old enough to legally drink yet, so I mean, he should be okay.
So you've got a 4-game series starting against the Brewers tonight, and you've got your number 1 guy, Sonny Gray, on the mound. Okay, just for some Sonny Gray stats, right? He's got a .89 ERA, 0.89 ERA. Beautiful. Under a run on the season.
He has been a stud.
He's made 5 starts for the Cardinals so far. They played 36 games. So he's made 14% of the team starts. He's 4-1. He's got 27% of the team wins already. I mean, so, like, the Cardinals could win this game tonight, and hopefully it takes them on a run. Because, I mean, if you get 3 out of 4 here against the Brewers,
then you're back in business.
Yeah,
I mean, you still got 120-something games left in the season.
Because you're really I think you're only 8 games out as it sits now. So you pick up a couple of games and you regroup.
Right.
So Contreras got hurt. Like, everybody's seen the replay. Oh, you could tell right away that thing was
and you know what's so bad about it? Because he's been labeled as a guy who's poor at framing pitches.
Right.
And so he's been scooting up closer to the plate to get better at framing the pitches, but he just got his ass fucking on the IL for the next 6 weeks.
That was
that was ugly.
You see him and he's holding his arm and he's not moving, wiggling his fingers at all. It's like you knew right away.
And what sucks is that he was actually having a good offensive season. He was actually one of their bright spots.
Dude, he's got an OPS of 170 right now. He was leading your team, I think, or tied for the leading home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, he was your only hitter actually right now. I know Arenado's coming out of it lately.
And Mason Wynn has had a surprisingly good season.
Mason Wynn's had a good season because you weren't expecting that.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that. But Contreras has had a solid offensively productive season, so...
Carpenter started his rehab,
okay,
so he could be coming back. I mean,
any Tommy Edmonds sightings?
No, that's the other thing I got written down. Tommy Edmonds, they moved him to call up. I don't know how they did how the IL thing works. They moved him to the 60-day IL now, so who knows when Tommy Edmonds is coming back.
I mean, we're talking. Memorial Day.
Right.
Hell, Memorial Day is around the corner.
I mean, that's 2 weeks or that. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Father's Day. I mean, Jesus.
No Tommy Edmonds sightings. I know, like, he's not a superstar, but he was a glue guy, and I think you are missing Tommy Edmonds.
Yes, they're missing Tommy Edmonds a lot. They're missing him a whole lot, especially when they had it. But I don't know how I felt about that anyway going into the season, banking on him being your center fielder. He did a great job. He did a great job last year. But championship and winning teams don't do that.
No.
They just don't do those type of moves.
Like the whole the Cardinals are always notorious for doing this too. Like Skip Schumacher going
to the outfield from second base. Yeah.
They're always trying to do.
But at least he was on a team that had a good pedigree of winning.
Right.
Like right now, they just feel like they're searching with every move that they make. Every move that they go after, it seems like they're just reaching. It's like a what if type of scenario. Well, if this guy if this guy does this, and if this guy does that, and as opposed to in baseball, you need a lot more because it's every day that you're running that lineup out there and your defense out there. You got to have a lot more of a defined line on who's doing who and what's doing what.
That's one of the things I think analytics has kind of killed some of that.
It has.
Because there's so much substituting and you're platooning guys now. I mean, I liked it the old days of baseball where you knew
who was in the lineup,
what eight guys, order. You knew
where they were playing,
what you were gonna get.
Yeah, where they were playing, and so the analytics part. That's one of the things that kind of, especially for guys that's like our generation,
right.
And older, of course, they kind of like, oh, come on, man, let's what happened to the feel of the game?
We knew Coleman was hitting first, Ozzie second, McGee third, Clark fourth, Pendleton fifth. Like we knew what was happening.
Yep, you knew what was going on. You knew. I mean, but again, that's this day and age baseball. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I really don't. They just need. I think they need to tweak the rules a little bit. I don't so much care for some of the substitution rules.
You know what? I mean, I'm okay with the substitution rules now that they got rid of the shift. Once they got rid of the shift, I was okay with that because to me, at that point, you weren't asking people to fill their position anymore. Right. And that's where you're seeing teams like the Cardinals, unfortunately, struggling because they got these people in positions that they really can't play, on a regular basis because they're not defined as a second baseman, they're not defined as a third baseman. And when you played those positions on a daily basis, day in, you knew how to fill that position to a professional level. And right now, we just don't get that right.
It's like having a whole team of Rex Hudlers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Brendan Donovan is, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a Swiss Army knife, but you only need one of them. You don't need 8 of them.
You don't need 8 of them. That is correct. Because, I mean, we've got Alec Burleson. He's a guy. I mean, you can stick him at third, first, outfield.
Nolan Gorman. One day he's at DH. One day he's at second. Then you put him on third when Arenado gets a day off. I mean, and then you got no defined outfield positions either. I mean, these guys just kind of roll. One day Newt Barr's in center field.
You got Dylan now that he's back.
Yeah, you got Dylan Carlson. Hopefully he gives you something, but we'll see. I said it's kind of been a little rough edge, but I mean, that goes back to my original topic, like starting this off. I think the Cardinals really missed a chance to retool last year by not trading Goldschmidt.
They did.
Yeah, because they could have got a king's ransom for Gold. Kind of like they almost need to follow page what the Blues did. When the Blues saw they were going nowhere and they went ahead and they traded off Barbashev.
Barbashev and O'Reilly and Tarasenko.
Yeah, I mean they got pieces, and so there at least is some promise that you can see within the organization of okay. Yes, we got rid of some of our guys because we weren't going to go on a championship run this time. So let's get rid of these guys and let's get some more injection of youth and life of promise in the future.
I really think management thought this team was going to win, though. Like, we'll just get a couple of starting pitchers and run it back again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot that's in disarray probably behind the scenes that we don't understand or know about. Especially with, there's a lot of stuff baseball because that's going to change a lot coming up in the future with Bally's, like the Bally Sports contract.
Yes, that money's gone.
I mean, I really feel like the Cardinals, they missed the boat about probably 15 years ago by not starting their own network.
Doing like a Yankees.
Yes, they should have started because the Cardinals in the Midwest have one of the biggest and widest fan bases out there. I mean, you got people in Arkansas, Indiana, Nebraska that are Cardinals fans that and we really missed that boat on not having that network that could have supplied them with it. Because now linear television is dying. And so, you can't really try to make that move nowadays, but you don't, because that's a big capital.
And starting your own streaming service, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
you can't generate enough money. Like, even if you charged $100,
especially because baseball's an older fan base, and so to get that older fan base to subscribe to, want me to pay? Get the hell out of here!
I'm not paying.
I'll just turn on KMOX, damn it!
No, you're not wrong. I'm not paying to watch.
I'll just turn on KMOX 1120, baby.
No, and that's where you get the reach from. Because that goes into Kansas.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's a good night all the way out into Ohio.
Yeah, exactly. So Iowa. Sometimes you get a lot of big fan base for the Cardinals. They really missed the boat. But again, it's a lot easier for me to tell them how to spend their money.
Right.
I don't know all the business workings and how it all works, but in order for the long term, because there's no reason for the Cardinals to be as small a market a team as they are considered in baseball because of how wide that fan base is. Because they usually, typically on an average year, are selling out, selling 3 million tickets every single season. I mean, most people baseball teams don't have that that type of turnout. They just don't. So I mean, I think but that's here nor there. It's easy for us to say, hindsight's 2020. I always say 2010. Shit, I always say 2010.
So that's the Cardinals right now, 15-21, 4 games set against the first place Brewers. Let's get it going, boys.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of football news this week because
there's really not much going on. Now that the draft's over, everybody's just kind of.
You got the OTAs that started or whatever they call
rookie
that shit
OTAs
now.
or whatever.
Well, I mean, they have saw some veterans because I saw Joey Burrow throwing some balls the other day. Him come off his wrist injury, he looked really good with his arm live. But again, it's just
there's just not a whole lot of big news.
Not a whole lot of big news right now. Oh, you did see though. Tyler Boyd did go to the Titans.
No, I did not.
Yes, Tyler Boyd went to the Titans. Yes,
wow.
The Titans are slowly assembling a nice team.
Wow.
The Titans are Tyler Boyd went to the Titans.
So now you got Pollard out there.
You got Tyler Boyd, you got Calvin Ridley, and you got D-Hop.
Right.
D-Hop, man. The Titans are slowly.
Their second guy, Tajay Spears.
Tajay Spears.
Spears.
So that'd be a nice little 1-2 with him and Tony Pollard. They drafted was it J.C. Latham? Who's that? I think. Yes, I mean.
Holy crap! Okay, Titans picking it up.
Yeah, so the Titans are doing that. So that's about the only big major. And OBJ. OBJ went down to the Dolphins.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, OBJ. Okay. Yeah, OBJ is down there. OBJ is down with the Dolphins. So that was the other move that was made this week too as well.
Well, I mean, what's he gonna take the slot away from Hill? I don't understand.
It's Mike McDaniel, so I got full confidence in his offense. He does a lot of motion and movements and that type of thing. You can line OBJ outside. You got Tyreek Hill streaking across the field in motion on the other side, draw the coverage away. I mean, Mike McDaniel is very creative as a coach. So.
There was another one too. Duke Johnson retired after 9 seasons. The running back.
Yeah, Cleveland. I don't even know where the hell he was last year.
Last year he was with the Dolphins. Actually.
Was he with the Dolphins last year?
He was actually with the Dolphins.
He barely got a snap, I'll tell you.
No, he didn't. But he put 9 years in the league.
Did he make? Was it 9 for
9 years.
Good for you, man. That's a good pension check right there, man. That's a good on you, Duke. That's a good pension check.
9 years in the league. So
that's a good pension check.
I think he put together like 5,000 total yards. For 11 touchdowns.
Yeah, most of that with Cleveland, I think. Yeah, most of that with Cleveland.
Yeah, he spent the first 4 years with Cleveland.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like I said. We're coming to the dry times, brother. I love me some summertime, but the only thing I think we're like 120 something days, maybe 118 days away from it. Yeah, it's about 118 days away from the start of the NFL season.
Yeah, I could have done without that.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll take 118. Before you know it, once we get below 100, I can say, all right, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, we got then it's only 80 something till like training camp.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens here. I mean, we just got to keep rolling with it. NFL always gives you something to look for, and they always find a way to keep themselves in the news. We do have the schedule release coming up here soon.
Oh yeah, and Rice got himself in trouble again, didn't he?
No, Rasheed Rice. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Just get your ass back up to Kansas City.
Go back to Kansas City and start training.
Well, that's all what we got for you this week at Bets and Buds. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby.
Shout out to True on the Track. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Yeah.